Hello, you guys. Hi. Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Keita. Happy Friday and happy Juneteenth month. Today, we're going to have a topic that everybody has an opinion or has a problem doing at some point or another. Communication. Communication. Yes. How effectively do we communicate? Is it the right time to communicate? Are you getting your message across when communicating to someone? Like when tensions is high and emotions is high, how well do we communicate with our body language or moving our hands or our facial expressions and communicating? So we're gonna get into the things, and you guys please leave me a comment, leave me positive, good feedback, and tell me, how do you communicate? How well do you communicate? So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a coworker, and tell your neighbor. We kicking it. We're going to keep going. Slow and steady wins the race. I think being a mother of 8, that's what helped me to be able to effectively communicate. Not just ordering your kids around and ordering them to do something, making sure they understand why you're asking them to do things and explain to them the reasoning behind it. And the more you be consistent with communicating with your kids, I think the better they'll become listeners and the better listener you'll become. Because it's not easy communicating when the tensions are high or people feel like you're not listening to them and you don't understand, especially little people, especially the kids. So that's the number one thing that helped me become a better communicator, is being a mom. Being able to, say, hey, just because I said so. Nope, nope. Tell them the reasoning behind the conversation or whatever you're telling them to do, giving them the reasoning behind that. So as my children start to grow older, I ran into a problem with taking constructive criticism from my children. Like, you can't tell me that. I'm the mama. I know everything. That's not correct. You have to be able to take constructive criticism for your children, because sometimes they get wild. It get real wild. And again, tensions get high. But you have to be able to effectively listen to them. And you have to be able to take constructive criticism, because we all can be corrected. Again, that comes with attentive listening. Even if the tensions are high, you still listen to what they got to say. You take what you need and you leave the rest. Because even your children, they can teach you things. As I grew older, going into the workforce, I started to be able to communicate more effectively, working with customers. Customer service is my background. Being out there in the field, watching customers do certain things, and it's like, pick up them clothes. Why you do that? Or, you can't be returning this with no tags type stuff. Effectively communicating, ma'am or sir, these items look like they have been worn. The tags are not attached. Yada, yada, yada. You get the picture, etc. Being able to communicate without conveying the message negatively. Again, especially when the tensions are high, we want to effectively communicate. Ma'am, I can take you over to where the swimsuits are. Send it in a way where it's effective, and she not looking or he not looking. They right there type stuff. But I think the field that I'm in now, it helps me really, really become a better listener. Because with mental health, you have to really listen, attentively listen, and be able to take what the important parts are and repeat them back to that person, or either break down the things before you repeat them back. The most important parts of the conversation, making sure that they understand that you are listening to them. You have empathy for them, or you understand, or you can reflect on your life by talking to them and taking out the important parts. So behavioral health, mental health, that is an important job with communicating. As I moved to that particular career path, I learned that sometimes it's hard to communicate with certain individuals where they're not trying to change their life, or they don't want to change things. So you have to meet them where they're at. You have to say, okay, I can help you with these particular things, and if you don't want help with nothing else, that's totally fine. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do because you, as a professional, you want, to be able to help them with everything. You want to be able to jump in, feed first, and help them with everything. But it's hard. It's hard. And one of the important things that I want to point out about communicating is emotions. Your emotions. When you are communicating a certain type of thing, or a certain conversation or subject, if the emotions are high, you're not going to get what you need to get across. You're not going to convey your message. So when it's a time that the subject is very delicate, you want to take the emotions out of it. You don't want to be like, well, I think, or I feel, or I believe you should. You want to take the emotions out of it, and you want to stick to the point. Regardless of what you're communicating, you want to take the emotions out of it. And how do you approach that person? He or she might not be in the mood to talk about the certain subject. Approaching them with kindness and respect. Even if the emotions are high, you still want to approach with kindness and respect. So that way, you're going to convey a positive message. You're going to get your message across. You want to make sure your approach is good. Your hands are not crossed, or your face is not, frowned up. That's all a part of communicating. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree on subjects. You're not going to always be in agreements with with a person. You're not going to always come to a common ground. As long as you're able to, stick to what your point is, or stick to what you're trying to convey, the message that you're trying to get off, that will help the communication lines stay open without, emotions involved. And another part of a communication I want to talk about is the timing. Is the timing right? Did you give enough time to let the air clear? Let everybody kind of take a breath and woosah? Or did you just, bam, go right back in the ring and say, hey, no, we're going to talk about this right now? No. You have to make sure the timing is correct. Again, body language is conveying positivity. That your messages, and it doesn't matter what age the person is. I talked about the little people. Even the little people understand body language. Where you frowned up or your arms across, even the little people understand that. So just be very transparent and be very clear about what you're trying to communicate. And you guys, make sure y'all go and leave me some positive, even if it's negative comments. It's okay, because YouTube gonna stop you if you down there too negative. Clear, concise, nice comments is what I'm looking for. Also, with being a mom, I want to kind of jump back to being a mom. It's some days where you get so angry, or you get so impatient, or you just get so fed up with your kids. You got to take a step back. You got to take a step back and not even communicate with them until you're calm and you're cool and you're like in a good mood to communicate with your kids. Because as parents, sometimes your patience gets short. Sometimes you don't even want to talk to you. Sometimes it's just like, look, I'm shutting myself off. But you have to give yourself time and give yourself grace. So when it is time for you to approach your kids and approach them and have a conversation, it's in a respectful and kind way. Because being a parent is hard. It's hard. And you have to constantly, that's like the number one thing. You have to constantly communicate with your kids. And as time goes along, and I don't like the word conditioning, but I use that word a lot, conditioning. As you condition your kids and you learn them and they learn you, the communication lines get so much better. It gets so much better. And in the workforce, like, you get to learn your coworkers, or learn your boss, or learn your clients, or learn whoever you're working with. And you learn their communication style and they learn yours. So it makes the job much easier. It makes the email or a text message to your coworker to someone much easier. You start to develop a habit of whatever my message is, whatever I need to say, I'm gonna make it clear and concise. Because sometimes with communication, you putting in too much extra stuff that don't even need to be in there. Just stick to the point. Stick to the point. Stick to the facts. What you say, and take the emotion out of it. Because again, sometimes we get caught up in our emotions, and y'all get caught up and saying extra stuff, putting in and taking out and adding. We don't need to be doing that. We need to be sticking to the point, sticking to what you need to say, and keep it moving. Keep it moving, because in any relationship, even with your partner, you know, tensions and emotions are high. Do you want to talk at that very moment? Do you want to communicate with he or she about what you upset about, or something about the vehicle, or something about the car, something about the house? When emotions is high, the best thing to do is to, in my opinion, respectfully, and Tequila's opinion, because we just kicking it, right? We just kicking it. In my opinion, it's best to let things die down until you guys can come to a common ground and communicate in respectful and kind way, because respect is everything. And if you're not respecting a person when talking to them, and you want to, throw in jabs or throw in things extra, like I said, it makes it so much harder to just talk to someone. It makes it so much harder. It makes it harder for you to respect them when things are said out of anger, or things are said out of emotions being high. The best thing to do for me when you're dealing with your partner, respectfully, again, Tequila's opinion, wait till things die down and then revisit the conversation. Keep the emotions out of it, because again, your emotions get tied up into things, and it makes it for a worse, in my opinion, conversation. So when you communicating with your partner, whether you agree or you disagree, keep it calm, keep it smooth, keep it collective, keep it the issue, that whatever your issue is, whether you agree or disagree, keep it strictly about what the issue is. And if you can't come to a common ground, it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna agree to disagree about things, and you're gonna keep it mute and keep it moving. Because with the person that you love and you care about, you want to make sure that you spare their feelings. You want to make sure that you spare, you know, and be respectful. Spare any additional stuff that you know that you should not be saying. Just keep it respectful and keep it kind. Because communication is, that's the thing that kind of, it helps the world go around a little bit better, or even lack thereof communication. What if you dealing with a situation where there's a lot of information missing? And in my particular profession, if you don't document, if you don't email, or you don't communicate with the people around you, it makes it so hard. Well, why you didn't tell me this, or why this wasn't noted, or why this email wasn't read? It makes it so hard. And shout out to my pops, because he always used to tell me, information rules the nation, or lack thereof. And the key part is lack thereof. Because if you're missing a key part of something, it's like you don't even get the whole picture. It's like there's a piece of that picture missing, because someone or something failed to get the information conveyed to you. So the number one thing in my job is like communication. Over communicate. Because sometimes, again, that little key piece is missing. And it's like, okay, well, I didn't know that. This wasn't conveyed to me. Information rules the nation, or lack thereof. So again, with the kind of profession, the kind of career that I'm in, it's like, please tell me, please email me, please text me. I want a note written. I want a sticky note. I want an electric sticky note. I want it to get really wow. And it's like, when I say talk, I mean talk. Because it's so hard to live in a world where you can't communicate with someone. It's just hard. It's hard. And you guys, please leave me some comments about communication. Like let's talk. Leave me some comments about communication, and let me know how you effectively communicate. Whether it's with your partner, with your children, with your, your coworkers. Leave me some comments about how you effectively communicate. God, I can't even talk. It is Friday. It has been a long week, and it was kind of wild. Wow, it was a little wild this week. Again, I'm just going to continue to support and be there for my subscribers because I love you guys. I thank you so much, and we're gonna keep communicating. We're gonna keep talking. We're gonna keep supporting one another. You guys, this is it. It's been another good, great episode with Kicking It with Keita. You guys take care of yourself. Have a great weekend, and continue to love and hug and kiss the people around you because they love you. I love you. Let's continue to kick it. You guys take care.